Good morning, ladies. I am Karen Ray. This is Fave Lifestyles. Welcome. I'm so excited to have Rose Harrow here with me today. Hi, Rose. How are you doing today?
Hi, Karen. I'm doing great. Thank you. How are you?
Excellent. I'm doing really well. Today, we're going to be talking about your money ceiling, a new way to break free of your money blind spot so you can create a more secure and abundant future. You know, I am so excited to be talking about this because money obviously is a big thing for everybody. There's so much uncertainty in business right now, and worry and frustration and overwhelm. And I just really love this topic. Here at Fave Lifestyles, we are bringing our women professionals to come help guide us through life, to live an inspired life. And super excited to have you here today, Rose. I'm going to just read your bio, if that's okay.
Sure.
Yeah. So Rose Harrow is a certified master business coach and creator of the authentic marketing from the Heart program. ChangeMakers hire her to build roots under their wings so they can make a better living while they make a better world. I just love that. That just really speaks to me. For the past 10 years, she has helped her clients double and triple their income. She's worked with clients from 4 continents to grow profitable, heart-centered businesses without selling their souls. Using new paradigm marketing and her holistic approach to business, Rose shows her clients how to make a better living while they make a better world. With 30 years of intensive experience in brain science and business development, she's coached and mentored hundreds of heart-based change makers to attract more clients and help more people. Rose, wow, that is, you know, you don't hear a lot about heart-centered business.
That really surprises me because I can't imagine doing anything else. But I love what I do, and it just seems like the most natural way to do it for me. Because if you're not coming from your heart, if you're not coming from your essence and doing what you love the most, you're going to burn out.
Yeah.
You won't be affected. People can feel it. If you're just like putting in time, or if it's just a job, you might as well go get a job someplace where you have security and benefits and all of that. But if you're going to have your own business, I just can't imagine doing it if it's not heart-centered.
Yes. Yes. And one of our viewers here is saying, yes, definitely heart-centered. And I think that really speaks to the women of Fave, because I think so many of the women, whether they are professionals or they own their own business, or even women who serve in our community, and I know a lot of our ladies do. I think that speaks to them. They are very heart-centered. They are there to serve, to change the world as it is, and make it a better place. So I think you're right on target. So tell us a little bit about you. Tell us a little bit about your story and how you ended up where you are at today.
Oh my goodness. Well,
shorter version.
I'll do the really short version that I've been in private practice and also training the trainers for 30 plus years, and doing the brain. I was very fortunate to run into a man who's a genius, who was doing brain science, like decades before anybody else was talking about it. And I studied intensively with him. And so I was using this in my private practice. Everything was great until they call it accidents for a reason. I had a car accident and it wiped me out. On every level, including financially. And I realized that my word of mouth business was not going to be enough to cover these huge medical bills. And so I was laying there healing and thinking, oh, how am I going to get out of this? And realized I didn't know how to market myself. I had been proud of the fact that I had never marketed myself. It was all word of mouth. And I was kind of like a little too, a little too proud of it. And then I realized, I really think marketing is bad. If I dig down, I really think marketing is bad, and I'm a better person because I've never done it. And then I realized, wow, I better take a look at that, because I really need to exponentially grow my business now. And so I was determined to find people to study with who were doing a new paradigm of marketing, not the old, pushy, you better buy this or bad things will happen. I couldn't do that. And I was very fortunate. I've probably studied with 25 or 30 of the top people in the country. And just so grateful to have found like a whole different approach where the marketing part is as heart-filled as the delivery of the service, you know, because most people who love their work, who are heart-centered people, just say, oh, I don't want to do the administrative part. I want that to take care of itself. I want the money to take care of itself. I just want to be with my clients. That's the part I love. And that was me. And so it was really wonderful that I got to find, you know, it's the same story. If, you know, something terrible happens and out of it, much good comes.
Right. Well, you know, I think what you're doing too, as women will understand a little bit more about what you do as we go through our conversation here. But what a perfect time, because things are changing. Everybody's doing business, you know, either at home, online. We don't have that human connection right now. So how does that marketing look now? Because it really is a little bit different. But the people who market now are going to be ahead of the game when we come out of this whole COVID situation. Do you think?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I couldn't agree more, Karen. That's just exactly right on. Some people, when COVID first started, some people were like frozen, like, I'm just going to hold my breath until this is over. And this is no time to run a business. And like, au contraire, this is exactly the time to really do the introspection and part of managing your money well. And I use a system that I love called Sacred Money Archetypes. And I was fortunate to actually study with the woman who created the system. She used the word sacred and money together on purpose to start to break up some of our unconscious beliefs that money's not spiritual. That if you have money, you'll become a bad person.
Oh,
it's not even conscious.
Yeah. Wow. You could go deep into that. So let's talk a little bit about this, because we want to give the ladies some idea of what you do, how, you know, and some tips as we walk along here too, to give them some vision of how maybe they can market their business with you. So what is a money blind spot?
So a money blind spot, we all have money blind spots. The wealthiest person I've ever worked with had money blind spots and money issues. And it's just remarkable. I mean, one woman was a multimillionaire. This is many years ago. And she said, you know what? I have tons of money and I feel like every moment I might starve. You know, so these are non-logical things, right? She says, I know it's not true, but I, you know, can't shake this feeling. So that was kind of like a blind spot, like, well, what's underneath that? But for most of us, it's more, you know, we're raised with all these ideas. Money doesn't grow on trees and, you know, things like that. So I'm going to tell you a story.
Okay.
Woman, I'm going to call her Barbara. She was at a party, and a well-to-do person who loved taking good care of herself approached Barbara and said, oh, you're a body worker. How much do you charge? And Barbara said, before I could even stop myself, what came out of my mouth was, I said my fee, and then I said, but I'll do it for less. And she said, I couldn't believe that came out of my mouth. Like, where did that come from? That would be a big example of an unconscious money belief. Like, you won't get paid what you're worth is an unconscious money belief. And so you have to lowball it. You have to undercharge and shortchange yourself.
Yes, and I hear that a lot, and I hear some other, you know, women. I'm glad that we're talking about this, because women say these things all the time. I hear it, and so I guess we're not alone in this. So tell us, what are some of the common blind spots that women have about money that you hear?
Sometimes it's as simple as like the obvious things, but they're not obvious to us in the moment. Not knowing how much you're earning, not knowing how much you're spending. I mean, one easy thing that people can start doing that will raise their money awareness is to just create an ongoing list, and every day write down all the money that came in. And some days it'll be zero, maybe lots of days it's zero, and then once in a while you have, you know, a big piece of income coming in. And then some days, and write down, you know, I spent $5 on Starbucks, and well, I don't even know what you can get at Starbucks, but for $5 anymore. But the point is to just write down, like, by the end of the day, like, wow, I spent $300 today. I bought some running shoes and didn't even know it. So tracking your money and how much you're spending and how much you're bringing in. And then what do you believe you're worth? You know, some people, that I work with, and I am so spoiled. I feel like I work with creme de la creme. They show up, they call me or whatever, and they just say, I'm not making enough money and I'm booked solid. So what do I do now? And I'll ask them a number of things. And one of the things I ask them is like, well, what are you charging? And is that different than what you were charging when you graduated from your training 10 years ago? And some people have like never raised their rates, and they think they can't because so-and-so down the block is only charging, nothing. Well, you cannot compare your business to anybody else because so-and-so, it may be a hobby business. They're retired, they have a nice independent income. They don't need the money. They don't need to charge anything. If you compare yourself to anyone else, you're not going to be in your own groove.
Yes. So I'm finding a lot of women that are coming into their 50s. Maybe they're leaving their corporate jobs. They're transitioning. They want to do something heart-centered. They want to do a business that has a purpose, gives them a new purpose or whatever. So what would you say in that discussion about charging? Because maybe they're starting a new business. And they're like, oh, how much can I charge? This is new. How much will people pay me? That type of thing.
Yeah, so that's a great question because that's not an isolated question. That's a question that exists among many other questions. And sometimes people forget to look at those other questions. Sometimes people say, okay, I'm going to start a business. I need a website and a business card. And I'm thinking like, we'll hold the phone. Let's back up a little bit. Like, have you done self-reflection? Do you know who you are? Do you know what your life purpose is? Because if you're going to put energy into it, don't you want it to fulfill you at the deepest level and make sure everything you build is aligned with that? Because that's where your success is going to come from. And so what you charge is like a question way down the line after you've done some of these other things. But I think people do lowball their experience. And I have a lot of assessments I do that save time. And one of them is like, let's take a look at your experience. What kind of results can you get for people? Because it's not about just sitting next to somebody for an hour. If they don't get results, that has no value to them.
Right.
It's about the results you can provide for them.
Absolutely. That is so great. So let's talk about money archetypes. What does that mean? What is that?
Okay. And before I studied it, I knew nothing about it. and when I first took the training with Kendall Summerhawk, I thought, okay, this is probably going to be fun and nice. And I didn't the more I learned about it, the more powerful and useful. So every culture has their own archetypes that they work with. And whether it's formally made into a system or not, if you say so-and-so is a real hero, everybody knows what that means.
Mm-hmm.
Or if this person is a real nurturer, we know what that means.
Mm-hmm.
And so I work with 2 sets of archetypes. And when I do the assessment, it reveals a lot. And a lot of times people will start laughing at the end and they'll go, this explains everything.
Oh.
One of the things I found, it's built into us. It shows up in babies. Some babies are instinctively kind and share their toys and are really present and pay attention to others. And other babies are like, take my picture again. The camera loves them. And it's not good or bad. There are no good or bad archetypes. It's whether they're in balance.
So can you give us an example of one of the archetypes?
Yeah. So I'm going to do a nurturer. And we all know somebody who's big-hearted and they're always the one to bring the food, or they're thinking of everybody else. And sometimes their friends say, save a little for yourself. So a nurturer has the challenge of staying in balance, allowing their heart to open and be giving without burning themselves out. So that has to be in balance. And celebrity, that's another great one. Celebrity is wonderful. We need celebrities. They entertain us.
Mm-hmm.
It's only when they hog the screen, they take up all the air in the room, that's out of balance. But if you don't have enough celebrity, you won't be able to do public speaking.
Mm-hmm.
You will do any excuse to avoid public speaking or teaching or being in front of a group.
Right. So how does that, knowing your money archetype, how does that help you attract and keep more money?
Well, so there's certain archetypes that are not motivated by money at all. In fact, there are certain archetypes that sort of detest money. I mean, that may sound funny, but they're the ones who will say to me, like, I don't care about the money. I don't want to raise my rates. I want to serve more people, and that's awesome. But if they can't pay their bills and have to shut down their business and go get a job, it's a net loss for the world, not to mention for them. And so money goes in into a lot of decisions we make all the time. Like, should I invest in a training? Will that help my business? Is it the one I need? Versus the reflex that I can't afford it. Some people have this universal reflex. Whatever comes up, I can't afford it. So watch your language. Watch what you're saying, and maybe choose a language that is more positive. Like, that may not be my priority right now, which is fine. Do you know your priorities? And if it is priority, you'll find the money. You know, it's so interesting how we find the money for what we really want, but the reflex can't afford it. So knowing yourself is crucial in these times, because we don't have the time and the luxury of following false rabbit trails or copying somebody else.
Yeah.
Their personality is going to be completely different. Their money, their business needs are different.
Yeah, so this is so great. Boy, there's just so much to investigate. And I'm finding this so interesting that it all starts with knowing who we are.
Yes.
And building upon that and using our gifts. I mean, those are our gifts, our superpowers, and bringing those to light and to work for us.
Yes, exactly. And when I start working with somebody, I always, and maybe they really know themselves, so it doesn't take very long to, like, okay, bring me up to date. Like, who are you? What's your life about? You know, what's your life purpose? What lights you up? And let's build your business in alignment with that, right? But some people skip that step and they do what they think they should because they make money, and their heart's never in it. So, yeah.
So that is so great. So what are some of the tips that our listeners can use right away? What are a few things that you can, some gifts you can give the ladies here?
Okay, so, and I just want to mention, like, in addition to the sacred money archetypes, I have 3 other tips. And I wanted to just let everybody know that I do have 3 spots open right now for complimentary money archetype assessments with the follow-up consultation, which is wonderful.
So ladies out there, this is wonderful. Just to, especially in this uncertain time where people are like, how am I going to make this work? What's it going to be like? Thank you, Rose. That is just such a beautiful gift that you're going to give 3 ladies here.
Oh, I love doing it. And also later this month or the beginning of next month, I'll be doing a mini workshop on the sacred money archetypes. So if anybody wants to email me to be notified when that opens up.
Okay, and we'll put all the information in the comments too. So the first 3 ladies who comment that would like to receive that free gift, just put your name in there. And is that the best way for them to?
To email me at rose@roseharrow.com.
Okay, great, great, awesome.
Yeah, and then if they want to know about the workshop later on also. So,
okay, put that in the comments as well.
Yes, and here are the 3 tips.
Okay.
So the first one is to get to know yourself better around money, and just listen to how many times per hour, like, oh, I better turn down the heat. It's so expensive. That's a money thing, right? I'm not going to wear my good shoes because they'll wear out and they're expensive to replace. You know, all the time, money. So listen to yourself talk about money. The second tip is notice if you have unresolved money situations in your life, if you have debt, if you have to borrow money, or if you give other people money, if you loan money out without keeping track of it. And the third tip is, like, notice if you're being paid what you're worth. Are you being paid what you were being paid 20 years ago? That's worth noticing, you know, whether you have a job or your own business. Like, what are you really getting paid? And if you're overworking and undercharging, you might be working for $8 an hour and not know it if you don't really keep track.
Wow. So many great little nuggets there. Some that I'm actually going to, I like the one of daily, seeing where your money is coming in and going out, that flow of money, and just getting used to, because I myself have been kind of an avoider. And so just I love the little tips that you gave us here today. So, and thank you so much for giving 3 sessions away. That is going to really bless 3 of our women here at Fave Lifestyles, and we'll put all the information down below. So how do women get a hold of you, Rose, if they'd like to?
So the best way would I love email actually myself. So rose@roseharrow.com. And in the subject line, if you want to just write Karen or Fave so that I know to connect you with this. And also you can go to my website, roseharrow.com. That's HARROW. It'll be in the notes. Yeah, those are 2 really easy ways to get a hold of me.
Well, fantastic. Rose, thank you for having a little chat with us today at Fave. Just love all the tips and the nuggets that you gave us here. And I just really hope that all the ladies take advantage of getting to know you and checking out what you're doing, because we're just all here to do life together and to support each other through life. So super excited to have you here. So ladies, again, she has 3 gifts to give away, 3 sessions. So hopefully just write your name in there and we'll get all the information to you. And we will see you next time at Fave Lifestyles. Thank you, Rose, for joining us today.
Thank you, Karen.
All righty. Bye now.
Bye.